Hi, everybody. I want to thank you for coming back. Again, I know it's been a long time. The last time I made a video, I talked to you about police ethics complaint that I had lodged, both Larry and I. And I received shortly after that a decision regarding that complaint. So then I went to the media and I had all of this stuff, and then I had to do a revision. So I'm going to read you the letter that I received from the commissioner. I think it's great. I'm going to read it. I received it July 30th. I note that you have met with our investigator in order to clarify several of your allegations, and so has Mr. Fairholm. Besides your allegations, this decision is based on the operational police files in our possession, both with respect to the Sûreté du Québec and the Bureau des Enquêtes Indépendantes. The Police Act provides for three possible decisions with respect to your allegations: dismissal, conciliation with one or more of the police officers involved, or an ethics investigation to verify if there is sufficient evidence of breaches to the Code of Ethics of Quebec police officers to cite one or more police officers before the Committee of Déontologie Policière. I want to inform you that I am ordering an ethics investigation with respect to the following aspects: the entire police intervention having led to Mr. Riley Fairholm's death, the actions of the Sûreté du Québec police officers who were on the scene following the shot that resulted in his death, the alleged non-compliance of the Sûreté du Québec police officers regarding certain obligations set out in the regulation respecting the conduct of the investigations of the Bureau des Enquêtes Indépendantes, the actions of the Sûreté du Québec police liaison officer at the hospital BMP following Mr. Riley Fairholm's transfer. Please note that although your police ethics complaint mentions that it concerns all of the Sûreté du Québec police officers who were intervened or who intervened on these occasions, including the acting director general, Mr. Morancy, each of your allegations will be the subject of an analysis, and the commissioner shall decide whether or not to cite a given police officer. It is therefore possible that one or more police officers will rather be met as witnesses. These matters depend on legal considerations and on our investigation strategy. So that was really, really good news to me. So what that means is that they're gonna investigate all the allegations that I said. I said that they acted too swiftly. I said that they didn't follow the rules of the obligations set out by the Bureau des Enquêtes Indépendantes. I'm happy that they chose to investigate all of those aspects. I know I named a lot of police officers, and I did that because I don't really know which ones to cite. I don't know who was there. So I kind of have to do all of that. After I made this complaint, I'm going to just talk about, okay, so the second part of my complaint was was regarding the BEI investigation as a whole. So I'll read that to you as well. So finally, I want to inform you that I must dismiss your complaint with respect to the following allegations. The investigation conducted by the BEI was incomplete. We examined the investigation conducted by the BEI, and I believe that an ethics investigation would not provide sufficient evidence to conclude that one or more of the BEI investigators violated their ethical obligations. I understand your high expectations regarding this investigation. I must, however, point out that the BEI was in charge of its investigation and that the decisions pertaining to the investigation strategy belong to the BEI. The investigation appears to have been conducted according to the applicable rules. That's what's important here. That witnesses were met or either contacted. Although certain communication problems may have occurred, I do not believe that I could determine that some aspects of breaches of ethics were committed by the BEI investigators. So basically, there's not enough evidence to prove that they didn't do a thorough investigation. So in that part, I did ask for a revision. So I will read you the letter that I wrote regarding that. So I want to write, so I wrote that on the 12th of August because you have 15 days to ask for a revision, ask for a review if you're not happy with the decision that they made. You have to come up with new elements or new facts that may show that there was a breach in the ethics violation. It was really difficult for me to find like an ethics, violation, because like they just did a shitty investigation, and I can't say they did a shitty investigation because we don't know. Anyways, I think they did a shitty investigation. So I wrote, I want to first thank you for your order of an ethics investigation with respect to our allegations we made against the numerous members of the SQ involved in the shooting and death of our son Riley Fairholm. We wish to exercise our right for review of your decision regarding our allegation in regards to the BEI, and that the investigation conducted by the BEI was incomplete. We examined the investigation conducted by the BEI, and I believe that an ethics investigation would not provide sufficient evidence to conclude. So we will agree with you that our expectations are very high, and the reason for that is what the BEI investigators told us to expect of their office. The BEI website states that we, the public, should expect rigor, integrity, and impartiality. I had the privilege to view the many hours of testimony and declarations during the Viens Commission. I recommend that everybody take a chance to at least look at the October 22nd. There's October 17th was good with Martin Prudhomme and Jeanette Séguin. They're in charge of the SQ. This is all about what went down with the Val d'Or, the allegations against the SQ officers made by the Indigenous women or the Aboriginal women, or, just women and men. And so the BEI has been mandated to, look over those things. So to look over all Indigenous complaints against police officers. So I don't think that they're up to the task at all, which is what I wrote. So declarations during the Viens Commission, especially Madeleine Gioque's testimony in regards to the mandate of her office. What she testifies to is not our experience. The BEI has been mandated to investigate all allegations regarding our First Nations people against the police, and I believe they're not up to the task. So 1, impartiality of the investigators. 9 out of the 13th are either former police officers or have worked for the SQ, the UPAC, or some sort of police force. I will proceed with the new elements in our allegations. I will list them in chronological order as we became aware of them. Mr. BEI guy told me on our first visit that they would knock on all the doors in the vicinity of the intervention in order to locate if anyone had witnessed the event, if anyone had heard anything. He would ask the businesses around if the event had perhaps been caught on camera. In regards to the investigation, he explained to me that they would compile the evidence, declarations, etc., that when their investigation would be complete, it would go to corrections and then to the DPCP. The DPCP would review the report and, if need be, would ask for precision or clarification of the evidence provided. I have 4 bags of evidence. I think I'm going to scan another picture of that in my possession since October 4th, 2018. Riley's book bag, his shoes, sunglasses, and his phone. I showed the bags to your investigators on May 2nd, 2019. I believe there could be information that the DPCP may need in regards to those pieces of evidence, especially his phone. Really weird about recording this and saying his name. So That's why I'm just going to do this little voiceover, and I hope you can understand. I don't want to have any identifying characteristics or anything about him or her. I asked him if the BEI had talked to him, knocked on his door, left a business card. His answer was no. No one had tried to contact him and that the SQ had his name. I told the BEI about him in early February. The BEI interviewed him on April 11th. The interview was recorded and hereafter called the audio, and he drew a couple of croquis, of the police officers, the cars, and Riley. I am assuming that you have had a chance to review that recording and the croquis. It is in the BEI report. If not, I have a copy and will be happy to provide you with one. I want to remind you that the first responders were not questioned until months later, and that only upon my request, because we were told that they already had been interviewed. We cannot help but wonder how many other individuals were witness and would not have been contacted or have not been contacted. I listened to his testimony to the BEI. I saw his drawing. I also spoke with the first responder on the scene, as well as statements from Dr. Davoine in regards to the fact that Riley's organs weren't viable. A shot to the head, death, and immediate CPR can translate into multiple vital organ donations. The following statement is a direct quote from the BEI press release that is published on their website and that was given to me on May 3rd, 2019. L'enquête démontre les faits suivants. Un des policiers tire et atteint le civil. Des manœuvres de réanimation sont aussitôt effectuées sur lui et il est transporté à l'hôpital où son décès est constaté. It seems that the declarations of the first responder, Dr. Emily Davoine, and the witness state contradictory facts. Their statements clearly demonstrate that there was no reanimation efforts done on Riley at any time after the fatal shot by police officers until the first responders arrived. Okay, fait qu'un autre extrait du communiqué. So another statement here is: vers 1h20 le 25 juillet 2018, un appel est logé au 911 concernant un homme armé qui crie et qui marche seul sur le chemin Knowlton. 6 policiers et 3 voitures patrouilles se rendent sur les lieux et localisent le civil dans le stationnement d'un restaurant désaffecté. Please see the attached file. So I just sent in the croquis or the drawing that the witness made. He drew 4 cars and also states in his interview with the BEI on April 11th, he also states that he could identify 6 police officers but could see others in the background. So he drew 4 cars, thinks that maybe he saw 5, but can only really remember seeing 4. And on the statement, the press release from the 3rd of May, it says that there were 3 cars and only 6 officers. He can only identify 6, but he saw more in the background. So that's what I was just saying. So it would seem to us that the BEI, by publishing these statements as fact, is not investigating the case impartially and without judgment. They obviously have contradictory statements, and it is our understanding that the interpretation of the report and judgment are the responsibility of the DPCP and not the BEI. We also believe this to be common practice with the BEI. So we would like to thank you for your attention in this matter, and that you would give this complaint and expressing our deepest respect to the Mr. Commissioner. So I received a response shortly after, and they denied the review. So that just means that the BEI is like off the hook on doing a shitty investigation, but they're going to get what's coming to them. I have a feeling they're a new organization. They're overworked. There's nothing coming out of their investigations. So it's hard to say what's going to happen. So I'm really feeling positive about that. I wanted you guys to know this is what I truly believe in everything, that if we act like this, you see nothing, you say nothing, you hear nothing, nothing's going to happen. And I'm not that person. So that response from the commissioner is proof that sometimes people are listening. I don't know if anything's going to come out of it. I'm not going to be able to use that towards a legal things, but that's I'm still waiting on an answer from the DPCP whether there'll be charges against the police officer. I don't believe so, but you never know. So I want to thank you again. Thank you once again for listening, for watching this. I think it's awesome that you do that. Please share the video. That's how we got to get the word out. Like it. I'm not making any money. I'm not going to make any money from these things. I just think it's important that we know what's going on. I'm going to really try to work harder on these, but I've got a lot of stuff going on, as you know, on Monday. So probably tomorrow I'm going to try to download this for Sunday. There's going to be a big press release on Sunday morning or Monday morning. I hope the media gets involved. I hope they care. So thanks for listening. I appreciate you.